po sa ating lahat and welcome to Research Talks, where we talk about how research and innovation come together to strengthen the agri-fishery sector of the Philippines. Joining us for this episode, we have DA-BAR's Livestock R4D Program Lead, Ms. Glycel Aline Malinaw.
Magandang araw, Ronan. Magandang araw, Sir Oscar, Sir Neil.
We are also joined by the Director of the Central Luzon State University Small Ruminant Center, Mr. Neil Del Rosario. Magandang araw po, sir.
Thank you for having us, Ronan, Glycel, Sir Oscar.
Among the livestock industry, we also have the chairperson of the Bayabas Farmers Association, Mr. Oscar Hernan. Magandang araw po, sir.
Magandang araw, Sir Ronan at Sir Neil at Ma'am Glycel.
So, to start lang po, no, that's a backgrounder lang po sa maging discussion natin. Ms. Gly, paano po ba tayo pumipili ng technology or project na ipa-fund po natin as a bureau?
So para malaman natin yung mga research projects na susuportahan at popondohan natin sa DA-BAR, so binabase natin ito doon sa mga priority areas na naka-indicate sa ating National Agriculture and Fisheries Research for Development and Extension Agenda or ang ating NAREA. So kino-consider din natin yung mga other research priorities na hindi nakalagay sa NAREA pero alam natin na makakatulong sa at makaka-resolve ng mga issues sa ating sector. So every year, ang DA-BAR ay nag-i-issue ng call for proposals para malaman ng ating mga partner implementing agencies kung ano yung mga types of projects na pwede nilang i-propose for funding sa DA-BAR. In 2023, the Department of Agriculture National Livestock Program initiated the allocation of funds to DA-BAR to increase and intensify the investment in research within the sector. And in that same year, a significant portion of the funds or of the investment was allocated to the utilization of alternative feeds or feed ingredients to address the surge in feed cost due to geopolitical conflicts.
Sir Neil, nabanggit po kasi ni Ms. Gly na meron po tayong issue sa feed scarcity. Can you tell us more about this problem po?
Yeah, that's right, Ronan. On the ground, feed scarcity poses a very big and real problem for our farmers, especially for our ruminant raisers. During dry months, our forage quality goes down significantly. Crude protein goes as low as 2 to 4%. And what this means is that at this level, yung mga alaga po natin is not just undernourished, but they are experiencing nutritional stress. Not to mention, malaking parte po ng ating agricultural lands is slowly shrinking because of land conversion. And because of that, our farmers are forced to feed or use commercial feeds that are for swine or for poultry. And the lack of access to commercial feeds that are formulated for goats specifically are the real problems, being not available and being affordable or not affordable for our farmers.
Sir Oscar, bilang farmer po, ano po ba yung situation nyo bago po ma-introduce sa inyo yung project?
Unang-una po sa amin, ako po kasi yung Pangulo ng samahan doon sa amin sa DA3 Bulacan, Doña Remedios Trinidad, Bulacan. Naisipan po namin maglakbay-aral doon sa CLSU. Dahil meron po kasi kaming area doon sa aming lugar na 10 hectares. Mga 7 years na po yung aming samahan doon. Hindi po kumikita. May naisipan po namin maglakbay-aral sa CLSU. At napunta pa po kami doon sa lugar sa Ruminant Center. At namit po namin si Sir Neil. Kaya yun po yung naging simula nung pagkakaling namin doon sa programa.
Actually, yung pagbisita nila sa CLSU, hindi talaga kami yung sadya. Nagkataon lang na nagawi sila doon sa may Small Ruminant Center at wala naman talaga silang hinihingi sa amin. Pero, naikwento nila yung sitwasyon nila at sa pagkakataon na yun, nagkataon, meron tayong ini-implement na project with DA-BAR. Yung kanilang pangangailangan at yung pwedeng ma-provide ng project natin ay parang nagtugma. So, ang sabi namin, ang payo namin, puntahan namin at bisitahin namin yung area nila kung talagang mag-fit yung project. And yun nga po yung nakita namin upon visitation. Yung kanilang lugar, hindi kumikita, ang tanim ay guyabano. And nakita po namin at sinuggest na itry nila yung technology ina-offer nung project para sila po ay kumita.
Isa na po yung situation nila sa mga challenges na hinaharap ng small ruminant industry. Paano po ba yung tulungan ng center, yung mga farmers na katulad nila, given these challenges?
SRC, we started with one clear reality. The entire goat population in the Philippines, or nearly the entire goat population in the Philippines, is in the hands of the smallholder farmers. So we're thinking that any solution that only works on the commercial level will not solve any problem for our farmers. So with that approach, we wanted our technology to be, first, it must be affordable for farmers. And then second, it must be locally produced so that it would be sustainable and will not be dependent on imported products. And it must be scalable. So we're not developing the technology as a best feed on paper, but we're trying to develop a technology wherein farmers are able to use, are able to sustain and gain profits from it. So at the end, we're looking at the technology, not just the technology, we're looking at a livelihood system for them.
With that, Ms. Lai, paano po ba natin sinuportahan yung project?
Sinuportahan natin yung project ng CLSU implemented by Sir Neil. Since tayo sa DE BAR, hindi lang tayo nakafocus ng support sa mga applied research. Gusto din natin magkaroon ng mga initiatives on technology transfer. So, nung nakita natin yung proposal, maganda yung intention, maganda yung concept na magta-technology transfer na para ma-adapt ng mga beneficiaries. Since sila tapos na sa research and development part na funded by DOSTP card, ready na for technology transfer at mas maganda to na magagamit na agad ng ating mga livestock raisers and ng mga farmers.
Sir Neil, nabanggit po kasi ni Ms. Lai yung mga technologies sa project. Paano po ba kaming walkthrough kung ano sila and paano po sila nag-work as system?
What we develop really is not just technology. We develop a system composed of two technologies that complement each other. The first technology is the legume strata, developed by Dr. Emilio M. Cruz, wherein you produce or propagate legume species in one area. Legumes are known to have very good or very high biological value for small ruminants. The species include ipil-ipil, rinsoni, or indigofera. And then that technology produces the raw material for the second technology, which is the S-feed production. Now, what is S-feed? Ano po yung S-feed? It is a complete pelleted feed technology specifically for goats. Now, after producing those, bakit naman kailangang mag-pellets? Ano po? Pwede naman pong ipakain yan na mash lang. So, with the pelleting technology, it reduces the selective feeding behavior of our goats. So, instead of may masayang po dyan, malaglag at hindi kainin, collectively, kinakain po ng kambing and nakukonsume as intake ng ating mga kambing. So, we develop not just a technology on production, but it includes the production of the raw materials. Based on our researches, we have seen very good economic gains from this technology, including weight gain, good milk production, and even labor reduction on expenses.
Sir, tama po, di ba? Yung legume strata is tinetest na po siya sa iba't ibang regions, while yung S-feed naman po is may feeding trials po siya sa SRC. Ano po ba yung nag-trigger para mapadala yung mga technologies na to from the research station papunta sa field?
With our engagement and interaction with farmers doing agricultural extension, one of the biggest lessons that we learned is that technology will not transfer to farmers by itself. Farmers doesn't just need knowledge. They need the support system to do it, which is why it led us to provide planting materials, equipment, technology transfer, among other requirements. And also, selecting the right farmers was very critical for us. Hindi lahat ng farmer ay pwede dun sa isang technology. Kung kaya sa aming pamimili ng mga farmers, we selected a lot of things. We considered the land, the water resources, especially the commitment of the farmers. Hindi pwedeng tataya ang gobyerno gagastos, siya lang yung mag-i-invest. Dapat yung farmers will also provide equity. May investment sila, their time and their land. And with that partnership, okay po ang nangyari dun sa ating project.
Kamusta naman po yung pag-transfer, sir? Paano po ba tina-transfer ng project yung mga technologies sa farmers in 5 provinces po?
We work in close coordination with different LGUs and the Provincial Agriculture Office. Sinabi natin sa kanila kung ano yung pangangailangan ng proyekto at kung tungkol saan yung proyekto na yon. And they gave the list of the farmers that can fill in the need of the project. So after that, we provided the full package. We provided planting materials, equipment, and the training, including the continued guidance for the farmers. In total, we have produced over 60,000 seedlings that was distributed to 5 provinces, namely Bataan, Bulacan, Tarlac, Nueva Ecija, and in Aurora. So, inayos din po natin yung pa-training. We made that in 2 sequences. The first one is tinuruan po natin silang mag-produce or mag-establish ng forage area. After 6 months of establishment, when they have completed the establishment, a second round of training was done, and that was for the production of the SV.
Were there any challenges po ba along the way, sir?
Yes, there were challenges in implementing the project. First was that we had a prolonged drought, which affected the newly established forage area. So we had to be a little bit flexible in the implementation. Dinagdagan na lang namin ng buwan, in-extend namin ng more than 2 months. And there were also some initial farmer cooperators that withdraw from the project simply because they had some land and resource management problems. And buti na lang na ipaliwanag sa kanila yung project at the very start, malinaw na malinaw sa kanila. And nung medyo hindi na nila kayang may supply yon, sila yung nag-initiate na baka po pwedeng ibang farmer po muna yung mag-implement. But aside from the challenges that we have encountered, we consider these challenges very important to us. Bakit? From the laboratory experiences, hindi kasi namin na-encounter itong mga nandito. So, we consider it very important because we determined that when we are scaling up this kind of technologies, may mga ganitong realities kaming makikita. And eventually, we are able to use this knowledge pag meron pa or dadagdagan pa natin yung mag-a-adapt ng technology.
Tama po, sir, no, na yung association po nila, Sir Oscar, yung una pong nakapag-produce and benta po ng S-Feed. Then, Sir Oscar, pwede niyo po ba kaming kwentuhan tungkol doon?
Unang-una po kaya po kami yung unang nakapag-produce ng dahil nagtayo po kami unang-una nung nursery para po maipantanim doon sa 1 hectares na kailangan naming matamnan na forage area. At naipagtagumpayan po naman namin yung pag-establish ng forage area na 1 hectare. Kaya kami po yung unang-unang nakapag-produce ng pellet feeds. At bukod po doon, yung una pong harvest namin na maganda po yung naging ani namin dahil patag-araw, marami po kaming naaning leaf meal. Kaya nagtuloy-tuloy po yung production ng leaf meal. Kaya maganda po yung naging ani namin doon sa indigo pear na tanim namin.
Kamusta naman po yung naging project, sir? Kamusta po yung naging performance nito in terms of its targets and goals?
Well, Ronan, in terms of performance, the project has exceeded its performance target. The project has produced more than or nearly 50 tons of herbage yield, which is equivalent and 12,000 kilograms of leaf meal. Based on that, that reaches a 26,000 kilograms production of S-feed. But more than the volume, ang gusto na sana namin mangyari sa ating mga operators is that they go beyond the production phase and towards the marketing and selling of the S-feed. Just like with what happened with the Bayabas Farmers Association, they were the first to produce the leaf meal and eventually sell the product.
Kamusta naman po yung naging kita and production niyo po?
So ngayon po masasabi ko, maganda naman yung kita dahil yung una at saka pangalawang harvest po namin ng aming indigo pera, yung pinaka-leaf meal ay umani po kami ng merong 8 tonelada. At nakapagbenta po kami dito, kumita po kami dito ng merong kumulang 50,000 pesos. Ang naging presyo po noon ay 25 pesos per kilo. At sa katunayan niya po, meron pang mga pa-order na kailangan naming ma-produce. At sa yun din pong aming mayor ay may order po rin na 100 bags na pellet feeds na kailangan po naming ma-produce. Kaya iniisip po namin magdagdag nung forage area na para po maibigay yung demand ng mga nag-order pa po sa amin ng pellet feeds.
So, Sir Neil, sa experience po nila, Sir Oscar, no, can we say po ba na financially viable po si technology for scaling up?
Aside from the testimonies of Sir Oscar and considering the financial perspectives, the numbers are upholding or supporting the financial viability of the technology. Sa katotohanan po, the income that can be gained from this project or from this technology is about 137,000 pesos to 340,000 pesos. The internal rate of return is around 55% and the benefit cost ratio is around 1.17, which means that for every peso that was invested, you can have 1 peso and 17 centavos as benefit. In terms of the market, 96% of the farmers have stated that they are not aware of this technology. But upon introduction, 67% of them have mentioned that or indicated their interest to buy the product and have patronage of the technology.
Moving forward, ano pa po ba yung gusto nating makita for these initiatives?
Gusto nating makita sa mga ganitong klase ng initiatives, no, na hindi lang syempre sa isang FCA or sa isang lugar na adapt or na-transfer yung ating mga sinusuportahang technologies. Gusto natin na marami pang beneficiaries, mas mapalawak pa yung lugar na magagamit yung mga technologies. So in the coming years, it is our goal for our other funded projects sa livestock na ma-transition ito from laboratory to field following the technology transfer initiated by the CLSU and Sir Neil to make our technologies available and accessible to our farmers and livestock raisers.
With that, ano pa po ba yung gagawin natin para ma-expand po yung initiative to beyond the 7 cooperatives?
Okay, to scale this or for outscaling to happen, 3 things must be in place. First, continuity of support. Second would be expansion of the production units. And then lastly, stabilize or stable the demand. For the first and third one, okay na yun. Kasi yung continuity of support, we are doing that at the Small Ruminant Center already. We are giving the planting materials, the knowledge on producing it. We have already institutionalized that in CLSU. For the third one, just like what you've heard with Sir Oscar, that demand is already there. And it's higher nga kaysa dun sa may production inputs. Ang kailangan pa natin ng tulong with our viewers and other interested farmers is the second one, the expansion of the production units. Bagamat may na-establish na tayong 7 dito, marami pang mga marginalized land or unutilized land that we can use to produce the raw material.
So with that, bago po tayo magtapos sa episode na to, meron po ba kayong gustong sabihin sa ating mga viewers? Simulan po natin kay Sir Oscar. Sige po.
Nag-iinganyo pa po kami ng mga farmers na tanim din ng indigo pera dahil kulang nga po yung production dahil sa taas ng demand. Gusto po naming mas supplyan yung mga nangangailangan pa. Kaya nang-iinganyo po kami ng mga farmer na malapit dun sa amin para magtanim din ng indigo pera.
Sir Neil?
For us, we don't need more technologies that rest on reports. What we need are technologies that the farmers are able to use, able to sustain, and able to gain profit from. Kung ang worry po natin madalas sa paggawa natin ng mga technologies ay wala pong gaanong adapters, we just have to make sure na sila po ay kikita from it. Pag yan po ay pagkikitaan ng mga farmer, masisigurado po natin na makikita natin itong mga technologies na ating ginawa o generate all throughout the areas that it is appropriate. In Luzon, in Visayas, and in Mindanao.
Thank you po, Sir Neil. Ma'am Glay?
So gusto ko lang i-highlight na this kind of project na in-implement ng CLSU is an example of a harmonized effort between 2 funding agencies, the DSTP CARD and the ABAR, na sinuportahan natin yung development ng technology hanggang sa technology transfer. So, makapapakita din ito na naging maganda yung investment natin since naging successful tayo doon sa pag-transfer ng technology, nakaabot sa ating mga identified beneficiaries and livestock raisers.
Gaya nga po ng sabi nyo, Ms. Glay, through harmonized efforts, it is evident that the Livestock R4D program turns research into real solutions. At dito na po nagtatapos ang ating episode. Maraming salamat po sa mga manonood at sa mga kasama po natin ngayon. Sir Neil, Ma'am Glay, and Sir Oscar, maraming salamat po. Muli, ako po si Ronan and this is Research Talks.